Hey guys, this is Gaijin Hunter. I just installed Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 on my gaming PC because I have Game Pass. I'm not into these games, I don't do simulators, I've never played them before, but I wanted to show it because it's really cool and there is a lot of fun that you can have even if you're not into these types of games and you just play it like it's a Google Earth that you can fly around in. If you want to bypass that whole sort of like departing from an airport, you can actually select a city on the map and not an airport, and you'll start already in the air, then you can just fly around and have fun. Now a game like this is super hardcore in the simulation, but you can turn everything on to easy, which just automates everything, and all you have to do is fly and enjoy the cameras and do what you want to do. So once you're in here, I just turned the camera over to external, and then if you go to weather, you can mess with it. You can turn off the live, you can go for all these different types of sky settings. I am using an RTX2070S. I did notice on 1440p I wasn't quite getting 60 frames per second, so I did lower it to 1080p. And that allowed me to use the very high settings, which I'm very happy with. So my hometown, which is Cleveland, Ohio, and more specifically the suburb of Lakewood, is one of the 341 photorealistic cities that are debuting in the Flight Simulator 2020. It sounds like they're going to be adding some new ones in the future, but there's a list, and I'll put a link to the description down below, of the 341 cities that you can virtually visit. When you load into a city, it actually does kind of stall for a few seconds as it loads in the data, because with this type of tech, they're loading in the data from these maps and all these other things and sort of generating the cities on the fly, which is super impressive. So this is us flying into downtown Cleveland. If you've ever been to the city or if you live in the Cleveland area, you'll be surprised at how accurate this thing is. It's got every little chapel, church, shopping center, bank, everything is really wonderfully recreated here. Now, when I say downtown Cleveland, it's not really like downtown is this like place that everyone goes to every day. It's bustling and really busy. It's more like the business part of downtown. I mean, there are clubs and places you can go, as well as the stadium for the Cleveland Browns and the Cleveland Indians, as well as the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, but that's really all there is. Now, this area over here on the left is actually where I was working before I moved to Japan. This is the Renaissance Hotel, a really interesting older hotel, which I worked at the front desk. Here's a picture of me from that time. I used to be skinny. It's crazy. But that is where I used to work as I started studying Japanese about 9 months before I moved to Japan to really study the language, and obviously never came back. Going down here, this is the downtown part of Cleveland called the Flats. It's this area by the water, by the lake. It wasn't a big deal when I was still living in Cleveland, and I moved in 2002, but apparently they've developed it a lot. So there's lots of bars and places where young people can go and party, and that's called the Flats. I'm going to speed this up by 3 times. Cleveland has a gorgeous silhouette, especially in the evening or in the early morning. You'll see a lot of steel mills and factory stuff around downtown because that was the major part of the industry. Fun fact, Cleveland, apparently, this is Lake Erie. Lake Erie was apparently so dirty a long time ago that it once caught on fire. So I guess they called Cleveland the mistake by the lake. But Lake Erie is a great place now. You can go boating, you can go swimming, and it's a wonderful place. So now we're entering in the suburb of Lakewood. It's just outside of Cleveland. If you notice, it's almost like being inside of a forest. Like every single house has a big massive tree, and it's just a really pretty city. I think it was once rated as one of the top suburbs in America. It's also really small too. It's only like 5.5 miles by 5.5 miles, so very small city. And that is the house I grew up in. Now my parents ended up moving after I moved to Japan, so we're not living there anymore, but that is the exact house where I grew up and spent all my childhood. Just a few houses down is where I used to take private lessons. I used to play the clarinet. So yeah, pretty cool. I'm just doing a little fly around here so you can see the city. There's just so much green in this city. It's ridiculous. This is the high school field. I used to do the marching band there. I actually ended up dropping out of high school in my senior year. Just shows you how much I enjoyed high school, right? Here's a picture from the school newspaper when I was a junior. Yes, I had a goth phase. I was going to talk a little bit more about my childhood in Lakewood and all the different things, like, oh, this is where I used to play Magic the Gathering, this is where I had my first job, and stuff like that, but I realized in edit, it's not that interesting, especially if you don't know the person and you don't know the city. So what I'm trying to say is Flight Simulator is really cool, and if your city is one of the ones that has been recreated, it's fascinating to be able to fly above it and see all your childhood memories from the comfort of a digital cockpit. Anyway, for those who are curious, I am going to put my PC specs down in the description down below. Hopefully you guys enjoyed seeing just what this game looks like when you're in a city that's been recreated photoreal. I think it's pretty cool, and with Game Pass, I actually don't have to worry about buying it separately because I can just try it out for free. Well, not really free since I'm paying for it, but you know what I mean. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this quick little video, and until next time, happy flying.